who help you in deciding whether you really want to come to Canada. And when you finally decide that you want to come to Canada, I know the next question you will be asking is, so how do I come to Canada? What's the process? What's available for me? How can I apply? And those kind of questions. I know you will have those kind of questions. And that is why I've decided to do this video where I'll be sharing information on the common ways that you can use and choose to come to Canada. Many people have used these ways, and I'm very sure that if you follow the instructions, you follow the information I share on this video, you will definitely see yourself in Canada. So I'm sure you are very excited to hear that. So let's get started. Program. It's a popular one that many people are using. There's the Ontario immigration program as well. So you can apply to those programs directly on your own, and the province will invite you. Other provinces also have theirs, and once you apply to them and they see that you're qualified, then you actually get an automatic point of 600 points, and that is if you're already in the express entry. That gives you additional 600 points, and that's automatic. Like, that is another level of express entry on top of express entry, if you get what I mean. So that's like you're already in Canada. So if a province invites you, then that's beautiful. You can actually apply to the province, and if you meet their requirements, you can be invited over to Canada through the provincial nomination program. I'll talk more in details about this provincial nomination program in subsequent videos as well. So, but the requirements for the provincial nomination usually are less stringent compared to the express entry. So that's a good thing for you. Another thing you need to do now, that's provided you this information, you can go ahead and do more research so you can have the right information. Just look at any of the provinces and look at the programs and try to see if you qualify for any of them. Provincial nomination too can also be applied to people who are already in Canada. Let's say you came to school in Canada, or you have a work permit in Canada. The province where you are working or schooling have their programs. You can just apply to it directly. This is for people who are already in Canada. If you're not in Canada, you can still apply for provincial nomination outside of Canada. So that's a very, very easy way to come to Canada. Like, once a province nominates you, you are already in Canada. I can assure you of that. Okay, so I've mentioned express entry and provincial nomination. These two, you just get your permanent residency in Canada. So you're not like coming and staying and start looking for permanent residence again. You're already a permanent resident, if you know what I mean. So there's another one that is called the Canadian Experience Class, whereby, for instance, maybe some governments of some countries have an arrangement with Canada where people can come and work in Canada, and because you've stayed in Canada through work, you've worked in Canada, then you can apply to get a permanent residence because of your work experience. That's why it's called Canadian Experience Class. Or let's say you're already in Canada as a student, maybe you school in Canada and after that you worked in Canada, or maybe your spouse was schooling and while you're working, you can use the work experience to apply to become a permanent resident in Canada. So these ones are kind of a little bit technical and not so straightforward, but if you have the opportunity, the information is there for you to use. That is one way. So the next way I'll be talking about, we have what we call the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program, AIPP. That's another program that is for the Atlantic provinces. So in the Atlantic provinces consist of Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Newfoundland and Labrador. Newfoundland and Labrador is one province, and then you have Prince Edward Island. These four provinces have a special program called the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. So it's a special program for for people to come over and work, for workers, international workers to come over to these provinces and settle down in this province. So the information is out there on the websites of each of these 4 provinces. You can apply to these programs. So if you have work experience, you have the right education from your country or other countries, you can actually apply to these programs. And the thing about these programs is that it's also applied to international students, so in these provinces. So students who schooled in these 4 provinces have the opportunity to also apply to the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. So the program is especially for international workers as well as international students to come and reside in these provinces. And it's the requirements are actually less stringent, like the express entry and all of that. So I think you want to check that out so that you can take advantage of it. Another program I will talk about is, like I did say, you can become a permanent resident directly through all those programs I've mentioned, but you can also come to Canada, not necessarily being a permanent resident, but through other means. You come as a temporary resident and then process your way through and become a permanent resident. So you're asking, how can I do that? Yes, I will share about it. In the last video I shared, I talked about education, right? So a lot of people, when I say a lot of people from all over the world, from Africa, from other places, have used education as a means to come to Canada. And it's like, I can say it's the best way to come to Canada. It's like, it's confirmed, it's assured that once you get your study permit, your student visa, and you're in Canada, I can guarantee you, if your aim is to stay after your school, then you can be guaranteed that there is no way you go back home after coming to school here. It's the surest way to get to Canada. The only disadvantage is that it is not so cheap. Like, it's very expensive to come through school to come to Canada. But I assure you that once you come here and you finish your study, you can be sure that you'll stay back in Canada if you really want to stay back. Because number one, the employers in Canada, they value Canadian education. So there's what they call Canadian education. You need to have that education, because when you immigrate and come to Canada and you didn't have the Canadian education, sometimes some of the employers would not even want to employ you. So they will prefer someone who's schooled in Canada and have the Canadian education, because they believe someone who is educated here is already familiar with the culture, the way of life, the adaptability, and easily blending. And also, it also helps you to have what we call Canadian experience, because in the process of schooling you also get to work. So you see, there are lots of advantages for doing this. There's another thing about schooling in Canada. Most of the provinces in Canada, they have what we call study and stay program for international students. So because they want to encourage people to stay back after their study, after getting the education, they want you to get back some value for your money. And I mean, they don't want to lose the talents. Education is very valuable and vital. The skills you acquire in the process of school can be used very well. So most employers don't want to, the government doesn't want to lose the people after training you in Canada. They want you to add value. They believe that you have the value already, so they want you to stay. So they are organizing what we call study and stay program in most of the provinces. So there's a lot of encouragement basically for people who school in Canada to stay back. It's like they're almost begging you to stay back. So if you get what I'm saying. So that's why I say schooling is like the best way to come to Canada. It's almost guaranteed that once you finish your school, you can stay back in Canada. So guys, I want to encourage you, especially if you know that you cannot meet up with the express entry requirements. For instance, if age is not on your side, you are above 35 years old and you really want to come to Canada, and probably your English language is a problem, you're not like meeting up with the requirement, probably you don't really have the proof of fund that's required for the express entry, probably there are other factors that are not just in your favor, then education, come to school in Canada. Either you come for your first degree, or you come for a master's degree, or you come for a diploma, or you come for something, but it's more encouraged when you come for a full, like, longer years of study, like a degree program or a master degree program, so that you can, because the advantage of coming to school is that by the time you finish schooling, you will be offered and given postgraduate work permit, post-graduation work permit that allows you to stay back in Canada and work. And through those period, you are able to gain Canadian work experience, as well as you are able to also use that time to apply for your permanent residence. Some of you already have work experience back in your country, so you're not really sort of depending on the Canadian work experience. So what that means is that by the time you even finish schooling and you have your postgraduate work permit, even before your postgraduate work permit, you can even apply for permanent residence. Even the express entry, you can apply for it, because with education, you will be able to boost your points. The fact that you schooled in Canada, there's a special mark for it, even in express entry. So by the time you finish schooling, you can even use that to even apply for express entry, or even the provincial nomination program, or the study and state program that is applicable in your province. Or so there's a lot of opportunities actually for international students, right? So I would encourage anyone, if you're buoyant enough financially, you have the money, then that is like the surest way for you to come to Canada. And in my subsequent videos, I'll be talking about how you can apply for a study permit, a study visa, and what you need, the requirements in order for you to have your visa approved. The next thing I will talk about now is what we call application for work permits. So not many people know that you can actually apply for work permits from even outside of Canada. Like, if you don't meet the requirements for provincial nomination or express entry, you can actually go ahead and apply for work permit. Like, you can go to the immigration website and apply that you want to work in Canada. There are different types of work permit. You can get a closed work permit. A closed work permit is a work permit that allows you to work in Canada, but you are tied to just one employer. What that means is that, let's say an employer gives you a job, so they sponsor your work permit. So that means that when you come to Canada, that is the employer that you're supposed to work for until you are able to find your way to become a permanent resident. There's also the one we call the open work permit. The open work permit allows you to work for any employer in Canada. That means you come over to Canada and you can work in any of the provinces for any of the employers. So you can actually apply for a work permit outside of Canada, wherever you are based. Isn't that interesting? Not so many people know that. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be so easy, especially when you are outside of Canada, to just apply for a work permit and come over and start working. It's not that easy, but it's very possible. How you can do that, I will share in the next video. But in the summary of it is that you can actually apply to Canadian jobs. So you can go to the internet, look for jobs in Canada, apply for lots of them. There are some provinces where they are actually looking for people. They need people. So apply to those jobs, keep applying, don't give up. Never give up. You never know who is going to call you. I know of someone who got a job in the IT sector, applying from her country, and she got the job. I think she was from India. She got a job from her country. The company sponsored her and she came over to our province, and then she's working here. So you can actually apply for that. An open work permit is also a type of work permit, like I said before, where you have access to any employer. You're not tied to any employer. You don't need to have a job offer from any employer before you apply. So what that means is that you just go to the immigration website, apply for an open work permit. No employer is attached to you. You don't have a job offer. Once you are approved, you come over to Canada. And I know the open work permit is more common to people who have spouses. For instance, international students who are schooling in Canada. Let's say a man schooling in Canada, his wife can apply for open work permit to say, I want to come to Canada to be with my husband, but while I'm here, I will be working as well. So it's more common though for international students, but It's not limited to international students. You can actually apply for it. So that is one way you can come to Canada. The next one I will talk about is visitor's visa. So some people have also used this method to come to Canada by applying for a visitor visa. What does that mean? You apply, say you have a friend, you have a brother, you have someone who is related to you in one way or the other who is already living in Canada. They can invite you, or you can say you want to come visit them, and then when your visitor visa is approved, you come over to Canada. Canada is actually looking for people, so they even give you the opportunity as a visitor to apply for a either work permit. When you are here, you change your status from a visitor to a worker, or you can even apply for permanent residence when you are here. You can even say, even if you don't have anybody in Canada, you can actually apply to say you're on tourism, you come to visit Canada, right? So you are a traveler, you have interest in visiting places, and Canada is one of the places you have dreamt of visiting before. You can apply to come visit Canada on your own, and when you are here, you can actually apply and change your status to become a worker or apply for permanent residence, as the case may be. So these are ways that you can actually use to come to Canada. There are requirements for all of these processes. For instance, for some of them you need your English test. For some of them you need to show proof of fund, that you have enough money to sustain yourself when you're in Canada. I mean, the good thing is Canada is in need of people, so take advantage of it. All these processes I've mentioned. There's one more process I want to mention, is the business immigration program. So if you are an entrepreneur and you have enough money and you're looking for where to invest your money in business, like you have a business idea, you want to come over to Canada, Canada is actually supporting business immigrants. So you actually have every other requirement in terms of the funding. You have the business idea, you have the experience in managing businesses and all of that, and you are looking for where to settle down so that you can continue running your business. The government is welcoming such people. So what do you have to do? On the Canadian immigration website, there is a place for more information about this. You can just check it out, and you never know what would happen. Before you know it, you are in this beautiful lovely country. You can see the joy on my face. I'm very excited to be in Canada, and I want to see you in Canada. So if you have not subscribed to my channel, I want to encourage you to go ahead and subscribe, like this video, share with your friends, and even my previous video, I want you to go ahead and watch that video. There is so much information in that video. And also click the notification button so that when I upload new videos, you get notified. You don't want to miss very important information. So that is it for today. In the next videos, I'll be sharing more details about each of these processes. Thank you once again for watching. This is Canada Info Place, and my name is Chooks. Have a good day. See you in the next video. Bye.